Welcome to this Tutor to You sociology topic video on media, focusing on methodological issues with media research. Whilst there is a wealth of research into the impacts of media on their audience and society, it's important to critically evaluate how media research is conducted and highlight how different research methods used by media sociologists might produce questionable findings that can be criticised by others in the field. One such criticism is that much media research is conducted in artificial situations and as such lacks ecological validity. Another criticism is the subjective nature of the media. How individuals might interpret a media source depends on many different factors, including who they're with, their own biases, and the way in which they consume the media source. In this video, we're going to look at some of the more common methodological issues with media research. An often cited piece of research into the media is Albert Bandura's research into social learning theory, or the Bobo doll experiment. In this experiment, children observed an adult acting violently towards a clown or Bobo doll, and when given an opportunity to play with the Bobo doll themselves, imitated the behaviour they had seen adults display. Critics argue that rather than being a straightforward imitation of behaviour, children saw the adult as instructing them how to act with the doll, which they may or may not have been familiar with beforehand. Indeed, in control groups, there was more pro-social behaviour displayed towards the doll. Less aggressive and violent behaviour was observed. It's argued that the children were conforming to expected behaviours rather than displaying aggressive intent, and that the observation of an adult did not mirror real-life interactions with media. Furthermore, ethically, Bandura's experiment has been questioned as children should not have been subjected to violent scenes played out by adults. And a further criticism is that there were no real-world consequences for the children's behaviour, an important factor when judging how a stimulus might impact on behaviour in a real-world situation. Another criticism of media research is that it often takes place in focus groups, where individuals are collected together and shown a media source, and asked about their feelings on the piece. The use of focus groups in these instances is open to the influence of conformity, with people perhaps conforming to dominant views expressed in a group in order to gain favour with others, what is called normative social influence. If viewing the media alone, individuals might express different opinions to the rest of the group, and this could lead to a very different response to one given in the presence of others. This is especially true when the content may be perceived as controversial or elicit strong views, which links into our next methodological issue, social desirability. Researchers often have a higher status than their participants, and in some instances may even have a relationship with the researcher. For example, a researcher may use their own students as part of an interview or focus group. This could lead to the participants displaying what is called social desirability bias, providing the researcher with answers they think the researcher wants to hear, or trying to portray themselves in a positive light. This is especially true of controversial topics, such as violence and discriminatory language. One view may be held by the participant that is in contrast to what they think the researcher wants to hear, and so they change their view, and this has negative impacts on the validity of responses. Interpersonal effects do pose methodological issues for researchers when studying media content, not only social desirability or conformity, but also due to the fact that the media source is viewed, read, or listened to in unnatural conditions. Many individuals use people close to them to help interpret the media sources around them, as suggested by the two-step flow model. Viewing media as an isolated and unnatural environment changes the way in which individuals might ordinarily consume media, and may cause deeper analysis than if they were in their natural environment. The failure to replicate the natural conditions of consuming media in some research leads to false results that do not reflect the true opinions of participants. A final issue is that of subjectivity, particularly when examining media sources and trying to quantify these through content or thematic analysis. What one researcher perceives as fitting a set of criteria may not reflect what another researcher would see as fitting that set of criteria. Whilst measures are taken to improve internal reliability, such as agreeing a set of criteria beforehand, The subjective interpretations of individuals can impact on the findings, even when presented in a quantitative manner, such as percentages and frequency charts. What one person sees as being racialized or sexualized images, another may not, and this can impact on the reliability of results. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media, looking at methodological issues with media research. Thanks for watching.